Alright, the next part of this lesson is we're going to do something similar that some of y'all started yesterday. Not everybody got the start, but you should have watched the video for your homework last night and you would have seen how to do two of these types of problems. In this one it says for exercises 3 through 5, y varies directly with x. So this is a direct variation type problem. It says write an equation for the direct variation, then determine each value. So remember, if we're going to write an equation for this, the first thing we need to do is look at what is one of our ordered pairs, and it gives it to us. It says if y is equal to 16, x is equal to 4. So what it's really doing is it's giving us the ordered pair 4, 16. And when we have that ordered pair, we just have to put it as a ratio of y over x. And that's going to be equal to, our y value is 16, so it goes on top. Our x value is 4, it goes on bottom. And now we just work that out. Now I can tell by looking at that what the answer is going to be, but for those who can't, don't worry about it. Just use your calculator, and you're simply just going to do 16, and you're going to divide that by 4. Or you can use the fraction bar or division, you'll get the same thing. So like we use the fraction bar, it looks like this. If we do 16 divided by 4, it looks like that, but it's exactly the same thing. It gives us 4. And we're going to write that value down, and I'm going to put equals m, because that's our m, that's our slope right there. So now that we have our slope, we can make our equation. Remember, our equations for direct variation are always y equals mx, and since we know what m is, that it's equal to 4, we just got to plug in that 4 for that m right there. So our equation is y equals 4x. First part is done. Now what we need to do is determine what y would be when x is equal to 9. So this is where we have to start doing some plugging in. We're going to plug in our value of x, which is 9, into our x variable right here, and it's going to tell us our answer. For instance, we'll have y is equal to 4 times 9, which is our x value. If we multiply that out, that's going to give me 36, and that would be my answer. So my equation is y equals 4x, and when x is 9, y is equal to 36. So we've completed that problem. Let's move on to the next one. I want you to go ahead and try number 4. So let's go ahead and do number 5, and then you can go back and try number 4 on your own. So first of all, they're going to give us our ordered pair. They give us -7 for y and -21 for x. If we were to write that as an ordered pair, it would be -21, comma, -7. Let's put this as a ratio of y over x, and that's going to give us -7 over -21. So this is going to give us our m, but let's go ahead and put it in a calculator. So in the calculator, if we were to do this, we would have -7 over -21. Hit enter. It gives us a positive 1/3. So let me move that real quick. So I have a positive 1/3 is equal to m. So now that I know my m, I can write my equation. Remember, our equation is always going to be y equals mx. That's our direct variation equation. And since we know m is equal to 1/3, we just need to plug that in for m. So our equation is y is equal to 1/3 x. And box it, because that's part of your answer. Now, we just need to determine what x is when y is equal to 9. Now this one's a little different. It was a lot easier up here when we just plugged it in for the x, but down here we have to do something slightly different. So what I would like for you to do is we are going to go ahead and plug in for our y. So let's see. So we have y equals mx. For my y, I'm going to plug in my number. It says y is equal to 9, so I'm going to put a 9 for my y. And then for my m, I know it's 1/3, so I'm going to put 1/3. And then we don't know what x is. So this is what we end up with. So if we want to solve this, we're going to have to do inverse operations, much like we did on a problem yesterday. And I'm going to bring this over here so that I can work it from top to bottom. I think it'll make more sense if I write it this way. 9 is equal to 1/3 x. Now 1/3 x just means 1/3 times x. With that being said, when you use the inverse operation of multiplication, which is division, so instead of, if this is multiplying x and 1/3, we want to go ahead and divide 1/3 out. Remember, whatever we do to one side, we have to do it to the other side to balance the equation. So we're also going to divide 9 by 1/3 over here. The good thing is 1/3 divided by 1/3 is just 1. So we can cancel those out and just bring down my x. And if you're questioning that, if you're going, you know what, it really is 1/3 divided by 1/3 really equal to 1, well, you can go ahead and put in a fraction bar, and we can try it. Put in another fraction bar on top, and we'll do that. One's going to be 1/3 divided by, put another fraction bar, 1/3. So now you see that I have 1/3 divided by 1/3. I can hit enter, and look, it gives me 1. And remember, 1 times x just gives us 1x, because 1 times any number is just itself. So we don't have to write the 1 in front of it. There's always an implied 1, so it's just x. Now we need to plug in this side of the equation. So we need to go put a fraction bar, 9 over, put another fraction bar on the denominator, and do 1/3. So now that we got that in, that's exactly what we have written here. Let's hit enter, and it gives us 27. So that gives us 27, and that'll be our answer. So the first part of the answer is y is equal to 1/3 x. That's our equation. The second part of the answer, and I'm just going to draw a little arrow over here, is right there. And it's x is equal to 27 when y is equal to 9. So again, try to do number 4 on your own. Raise your hand if you have any questions, and I'd be more than happy to come over and help you work through it.